Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to give my full series review of Master Keaton. This is by Naoki Urasawa, Hokusei Katsushika, and the first couple volumes are also by Takashi Nagasaki, though that individual is no longer a part of the series after starting with volume 6, I guess. These are released by Viz. It is 1.5 volumes in each volume. So there's 12 of these 1.5 volume editions. They are quite pricey, though I will say these are beautiful. You can see the embossed map, and each volume has a different map on it, all the way around to the back. They're absolutely gorgeous French flap. Just beautiful with lots of color pages and typical of Naoki Urasawa works, lots of dialogue. Just really excellent editions. So I would say, honestly, they are worth the money if you just find them on sale, which is what I did. And this is a series following our main character, Keaton. He is a Japanese and English man who is an insurance investigator or broker. So he basically goes and just investigates all insurance claims, usually to do with theft or murder and inheritance. And so basically it's an episodic story about Keaton going around the world. He goes all over Europe, all over Asia as well, and into, I believe they go to Egypt and some other Middle Eastern countries in the series as well. So it's very interesting that you kind of jump around to various different countries and historic kind of monuments and things like that. It's very history focused because Keaton is also an archaeology, he wants to be an archaeology professor, but he's kind of struggling to hold down a teaching job at any university because he is doing this insurance broker job, which is what pays his bills, but it takes him all over the world, and he can't keep a steady teaching job if he's constantly having to leave. And so it's kind of a funny mixture between these episodic stories of him going and investigating these insurance fraud claims and just insurance claims in general, while also trying to deal with his personal life with his he's divorced from his wife for a long time now. He has a teenage daughter who is just very together, like she has her crap together, and just it's very funny when they interact with each other, which he does see his daughter decently often. His father, who is this like alcoholic womanizer, but he's not unintelligent. And it's just a very interesting mashup of individuals in this man's life. He's kind of, he is very intelligent and very, uses what's around him. So it's a lot. I honestly put off buying this for so long because I'm like, how interesting could a series about some insurance dude be? But if you are interested in history at all, highly recommend checking this out. If you're interested in like murder mystery stuff, this is a great one. It's not like a detective series, but it feels like it is. He uses lots of archaeology and historic, and he was a former military man in the SAS, I believe it is. Yes, former member of the SAS. So he also is very familiar with like survival tactics and things like that, which comes in handy on the many times that he is almost killed. It's just like, I don't want to tell you that it's action-packed, but it kind of is. It's really interesting to see how he gets himself out of these very dangerous and often violent situations. He's a very human person. Like, he's not cold and stoic, which I kind of like, because sometimes this kind of character is very like inhuman and they just kind of do their job and their thing. He's a very calm person, but he has a heart, and you can tell that he has a heart, and I love that. I have an acquaintance who is actually in archaeology as a profession, and I recommended this series to them, and they were so happy. They've been reading it, and they are like, oh my gosh, the history and the archaeology and all of that is actually like pretty accurate, and they're like super stoked about it. So if that's something that you're interested in, is actual like accurate historical references and things, apparently you can kind of tell that research has been done, even though I know nothing about, I'm not educated in anything archaeology related, but like I said, an acquaintance of mine who said this is very well done and has been recommending it to their other archaeology friends. So yeah, I just love this so much. I am so happy I own it now. It's one I've had on my list of things to check out for so long, and finally in 2020 I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy the first couple volumes. They're on sale, and as soon as I started reading it, I was like, I need to get the rest of this. I don't know the breakdown of these mangaka and how and what they were contributing. It feels very, very, very like a Naoki Urasawa work. I'm not familiar with these other two creators as much, so I don't know, what exactly. Yeah, I don't know the breakdown of the contribution of the three mangaka, and then later only the two of them that are involved. But if you enjoy other Naoki Urasawa works, I'm sure that you will also enjoy this one. But like I said, this is more episodic, but you get the overarching story of Keaton and his life, and you learn about his dreams and desires, because you get the feeling very quickly that he does not enjoy his job as an insurance broker. He actually tries to get out of it often and wants to teach and wants to be involved in archaeology, but it just doesn't seem to work out for him that way. So it's a very nice series about, this adult man who is trying to get his feet under himself to be able to do what he wants to do, what his passion truly is. And it's really lovely. And these look so good on the shelf. The spines are just excellent with all the different color numbers. And the gold foiling of the lettering. This is an excellent collection. Highly recommend getting it. I believe this series is from the 90s. There is an anime, I've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure this is quite an old series in terms of Naoki Urasawa stuff. I think his other stuff is more recent. But happy this was released in English. It's a bit it's been released for a long time now. I don't remember exactly when this started releasing in English, but it's not a newer one by any means. So I would suggest, and it doesn't seem to be super popular. I don't see a lot of people picking it up, but I could be wrong. I would suggest kind of checking it out sooner rather than later, because it doesn't seem to me like it would be one that Viz is going to be, reprinting for eternity. Something like Monster, I think, is much more popular. Yeah, I definitely recommend Master Keaton. If you've read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, I wouldn't recommend binge reading it. I can only get through 2 volumes at a time or so, because it's episodic. So you read a few of the stories and then you put it down and read something else, because you're going to get really overwhelmed with the amount of text and the amount of historical references and all that kind of stuff. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I found really interesting about this series is that each story, it ends with where Keaton's involvement ends. So, you have this murder that took place, that now the family or whoever is trying to claim insurance money for it, and he goes and he investigates and, finds out either the person isn't actually dead, or somebody actually killed them, or, whatever. Or the death was an accident, XYZ, doesn't matter. And you only get the conclusion of, you find out exactly what happened, and then it just ends. You don't get to see the fallout afterward, you don't get to see any of that stuff, because Keaton's involvement only is up until the end of the insurance investigation. And as soon as you find out what happens about the insurance, Keaton's no longer involved, and therefore you as the reader are also no longer involved. And so it's very interesting, because typically, a short story or an episodic thing, you follow everything all the way through until there is some sort of resolution, which the resolution doesn't always seem quite as full with this series, because again, Keaton's involvement only is up until he gets the answer he needs about the insurance and what's going to happen with that. And so it was very refreshing almost to just not have to follow the characters after that and be like, okay, so how now they have this information about, oh, my, father was murdered by this person. Now what do I do about it? We don't care as the reader or as Keaton, because that doesn't matter. All that matters is now it was a murder and that the insurance no longer applies. And it's just very fascinating. I thought that was well done and interesting and a different kind of feeling to a lot of episodic series. Anyway, thanks for watching.